Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Watch Me Viz for Makeover Monday, week 46, 2022. I am your host, Andy Kriebel, and I will be taking you through a dataset this week about the cost of cocaine around the world, cocaine and heroin, actually. And you can thank my youngest son for finding this dataset for us this week. Anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting and funny. So what I'll do in this session is take you through how I approach the visualization, build lots of different charts, and then I will come up with some kind of dashboard at the end and we'll be done within an hour. If you are new here, please don't forget to click on subscribe. If you like this video, please like it. I put out lots of content every week. And in fact, I am in the process of posting a YouTube short every day. And I'm going to try to do it for a month. And if that goes well, I'll just keep going on and on and on. And we'll see how far it goes. But if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will see those shorts on there. I think I'm on day 14 today. So going well so far. And I'll be sharing lots of useful information with you there. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's look at the original visualization first. If I can go ahead and bring this up. Let's look at, so the original visualization is quite simple. It's by the Economist, and it literally just looks at the wholesale price of cocaine per kilo in thousands of dollars from 2019. You see, there's a lot of countries that don't have any data, but Algeria, Australia, those are the big standouts for where cocaine is most expensive. One thing about this map is that, one thing I do like is that it does curve with the Earth, which is nice. I do like how they have highlighted with some annotations the states that, or sorry, not the states, the countries that that call for calling out. I'm not quite sure why those do. It looks like there's kind of top and bottom sort of states or countries. But the problem with this kind of map is it's very hard to see small countries. Like, there are a lot of really small countries in Europe, and it's very hard to compare them. So there could be, it looks like there's maybe a really dark one just to the northeast of Italy that I can't really tell what it is. So if I move my mouse, I think I do it this way. If I just go in here, you can see that there's a couple countries there that look dark, but it's hard to actually see them. So I probably wouldn't use a map for this data set. The data set itself, it looks like we've got a subregion, a country, the type of drug, so that's either cocaine or heroin, the year, wholesale price, and retail price. So pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and connect to the data set. And I need to navigate to wherever I saved it last. Here we go, probably here, not there. Okay, Makeover Monday, data 2022. And if I sort, I should see that. And I always like to rename my data set first. And let's look at the fields here, make sure everything got picked up properly. So we've got a subregion, country, drug. Okay, so that all looks good. Let's go to a sheet here, and I want to show you something first. If I bring subregion into the view and then country here, we can go ahead and make the subregion geographic because there's only one country in each of those subregions. So I'm going to click on the ABC next to subregion, geographic role, create from country. So now, if I double click on subregion, I will be able to see those regions. I can maybe make it a filled map, and now I can just compare those two to each other. And for example, if I want to just put like retail price on there, I could do something like that. So that's just a way to create a geographic object that's non-geographic from geographic fields. The wholesale and retail price, I'm going to go ahead and set the default number format for, we could set the, let's see, actually, let's set the default aggregation to be an average. And I'm going to just start looking at the data here. So let's first filter down. Let's just look at cocaine maybe. And we want to look at the wholesale price over time. And if we see here, if we look back at the original, let's just take a look at Australia for now. Let's go country. And Oh, they don't have Australia in this data set. So let's go to maybe Mexico. Do we have Mexico? We don't have Mexico either. Great. This is going well. So we just have Europe and the US. Okay, let's just pick Austria. Doesn't really matter. And we can see the data is in thousands of dollars. And yeah, so that all looks okay. I could maybe stick on an average line here. Let's put the average line for wholesale price, and we get something like that. Let's format this, let's edit this line, and I'm going to make it a custom average, and I'm just going to put the value on there. Okay, and then I'm going to make it maybe a dashed line, and maybe increase the opacity. Untick that. Okay, so now we've got our average, and that looks pretty good. So if we wanted, we could then maybe show the filter. We could look at maybe the UK and the US. So that's going to give us the average of the two. We could also, so let me go ahead and duplicate this sheet. We could also put country onto color. And now you can see I can compare the US and the UK. Maybe Switzerland, etc. I can keep adding more, but you see it gets messier as I go through them. So, but it is one way. It is one way to do that. Okay. So maybe something we could do then is, what if we just look at the average overall? Okay. So let me show you what I'm thinking of here. So let me just pick all. I'm going to pick just one country for now. And I want to compare Austria to, let me take country off there. I want to compare Austria to the average of all countries. So in other words, when I look at all of them together, I want to see this line, and then I want Austria compared to that line. So I'm going to create a new calculated field, and let's call this overall average wholesale price. And I want to fix this on year, and then I just want to take the average of the wholesale price. And then close that. So that should give me the average by year. So if I put that onto the view as well, let's just make it a combined axis view. You'll see I've got this blue line here. So if I make this all, the lines they don't quite overlap. Okay, so what's going on here? 45. Okay. Oh, I need to also have it by drug. So what it was doing before is it was taking the average of cocaine and heroin. Okay, there we go. So now they overlap. If I want to choose just Austria, I can now compare Austria to the overall average. Okay, so that's okay. So let's go ahead and maybe stick some labels on the ends of the lines. Let's maybe just label the max, and we get something like that. Okay, so this is now, so we could call this country versus the overall, something like that. Cool. So now that we have that, we could probably compare the two. So let's duplicate this sheet. And this time I want to call this variance to wholesale average. And I'm going to just do the I want to do the wholesale price minus the overall average. So let's see what this looks like now. And now we can see whether it's above or below 0. Let's take measure names off the view. Let's maybe change this to discrete and make it fit entire view. Okay, so now we can see whether it's above or below. So let's put retail price onto the detail, overall onto detail. All right, so if I look at this one here, we can see the retail price was 97. The overall was wholesale price. Sorry, did I do this wrong? This should be retail. Okay, so the let's see. So I did something wrong here. No, I do want this to be wholesale, so let's go back. And then this should be wholesale here. Okay, so if we look here, yeah, it's barely off. Okay, so now that looks better. Okay, and then we could maybe put that onto color. And now we, no, sorry, wrong one. Variance to wholesale price. And now we could see which one is doing better. So that's all countries. If I pick all of them, that's right. That should be good. It should be only showing it for one. Right, so that's good. Let's see. So let's call this variance to overall wholesale. All right. So I'm going to duplicate this sheet now and do the same thing with retail price. So let's call overall wholesale. Okay, so I'm going to put retail price on here now, and I'm going to duplicate my LOD, and let's make this retail price. Overall average retail price. Okay, overall average retail price. There we go. Okay, so same thing there, and then let's duplicate this one, and so this is overall variance to overall retail. Okay, so duplicate, edit. So variance to retail average. So this should be my retail price, overall retail price. So I'm just duplicating those first couple sheets. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got variance to wholesale average, so this should be variance to retail average. This one on color should be variance to retail average. That should be retail price, and then overall average retail price. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we can see in Austria, let me go back here. So in Austria, there's 1 month where the retail price is lower than the overall retail price. Okay, so you can, in 2002, you could have gotten cocaine cheaper in Austria than overall across all of these countries. Pretty interesting. Okay, and feel free to leave messages in the chat. I only have one screen today, so I'm looking at messages on my phone, so they could be slightly delayed, but if you have any questions, feel free to post them. Oh, also, Eva is out of town this week, so I am going to be running Viz review this week, so feel free to join me for that as well. The link is on my channel. Okay, so we've got that. So now, let's see. So we have a filter for the drug. Let's just see what this looks like if we compare them. Okay, so that's the overall. We don't want to do that. Okay. Right. So you can get heroin for much cheaper than the overall in Austria than you can cocaine. All right, let's see here. So that's that. What else could we do? Okay. Now the thing I'd want to do is probably allow them to pick a country to compare to. So I'm just thinking we could do. Let's look at a bump chart actually. So let's look at let's put year in the columns. And let's put wholesale price in the rows and country onto detail. And now I'm going to change this wholesale price. I'm going to add a table calc. I'm going to make it a rank. And I want to make it for each year by country. Okay, and then I want to reverse this axis so that 1 is at the top. So where am I looking here? Reversed. That's what I'm looking for. Right. Okay, so now we can see that in Finland, so let me just put wholesale price onto detail. In Finland, the wholesale price is 216,000 per kilo, whereas in Belgium, it's only 21,000 per kilo. So, yeah, interesting, maybe. So let's call this our bump chart. And another take on a bump chart would be something called a parallel coordinates chart. So I'm going to try to remember how to do this. So let me put this here again. And I want to look at, we're going to look at wholesale price. Okay. So what a bump chart does is it gives you the relative difference. So this just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Whereas a parallel coordinates chart spreads them out based on the percent difference between one and the other. So, for example, 216 versus 170, the gap here would be a lot bigger than just that, the amount between these two, for example. Okay, so let me see if I can remember how to do that. So I'm going to actually build it as a table first, because I think that'll probably help me. So country, and let's put wholesale price in the view. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get the, let's see, so I need to get the max first. So anyway, I'm going to build this in parts. Parallel coordinates. Okay, so first thing I want to do is get the max. So I'm going to do window max and then average wholesale price. So let me just start with this and then click on apply, and I'm going to put that onto the table. And then if I edit this field, I want it to be by year, or sorry, compute by country across the years. Okay, so now we can see the wholesale price. Can I do it this way instead, maybe? Okay, so we can see we got 216,000 as the max. Okay, so I've got the max, and then I want to subtract the min. So window min, average wholesale price. Click on apply. And now the difference between the max and the min is 161,000. Okay, so that's that. So that's going to be my numerator. So I'm going to just wrap this whole thing in brackets. And then my denominator is going to be, no, this is going to be my, let's see. Okay. So I'm going to actually just comment that out for now and then copy it, because I need to figure out, okay, so now this is going to be, yes, so this should just be that. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compare the individual values. So Austria at 60,000 to the minimum. So if I click on apply, 35,000, I don't think that's quite right. Yeah, okay, so wholesale price, oh, that's the distance from the minimum. Okay, so if the max and the min are the same, I want this to be 1. No, I want this to be, this should be my denominator. Okay, so this is wrong. This should be window max, I think. I'll explain this all in a minute. And then minus that. So if I click on apply, okay, so 156. Okay, so that looks right. So then this needs to be my denominator. And let's hit apply. Okay, so everything's on a range of 0 to 1 now. So let me just format this number. Default properties, number format. I'm going to make it a percentage to 1 decimal just so you can see what it's doing. So we see Netherlands is 100% and Finland is 0%. So I've got this backwards. So Finland should be 1. And then this one should be 0. Okay, so window. So it might be, let me try this. I think I might, I've got it backwards somewhere. window min. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Finland's at the top, Netherlands is at the bottom. So if I just go back, I could see Netherlands is at the bottom, Finland's at the top. Okay, great. So let me explain this calculation again. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting this is taking the value. Let's just focus on numerator for now. We're going to take the wholesale price, which for Austria is 60,000. I'm going to subtract from that the minimum value, which was the Netherlands at 25,000. So 60 minus 25 is 45. And I'm going to divide that by the difference between the highest and the lowest. So 216 and 25, so that's around 190. So 45 divided by 190 is about 23%. So that should be 23% up from the bottom. Don't know if I quite explained that well, but okay, so we're going to get rid of that. We're going to put that there. Country onto detail. Let's make it continuous. Okay, so now what this is, so you see the difference here. So Finland always has the highest wholesale price across every year except for this one here. But we could see Norway is 75% of the value of Finland. So that's what a parallel coordinates plot does for you. So this is parallel coordinates. Okay, but again, I think I like the bump chart better than the parallel coordinates. But it doesn't hurt to try it to see how it turns out. All right. Okay. So what can we do here then? So I've got wholesale, retail, bump chart. And if we did a map, that didn't work very well. Okay. So maybe I'll show you how the new dynamic container thingy works. So I'm going to create a parameter, and I'm going to call this my drug parameter. And I'm going to have it as a string, and it's going to have two values in it. One is cocaine, and the other one is heroin. Okay, so I'm going to create a new calculated field, and that is heroin selected. And I'm just going to say drug parameter equals heroin. All right, hit OK. And then I'm going to create another one that is, let's see. Oh, sorry, no, I did that wrong. I wanted it to be retail or, yeah, this is wrong. This should be price parameter. So this should be either retail or wholesale, because my charts are retail or wholesale charts. So okay, so then this should be retail selected, and then retail. Okay, let's create another one that is wholesale selected, and I'm going to say my parameter equals wholesale. Okay. All right. So let me do before I put any of this stuff in a dashboard, let me do a bit of formatting. So I'm going to make this continuous as well. I'm going to make them all continuous. That way they line up nice and neat. Continuous. So, let's make it a bar. Okay, and let's make it a bar. Okay, let's edit the axis, and we can get rid of that. Actually, what I could probably do is I could have wholesale price. I could have these in one sheet actually. So let's put wholesale price here. And then this one, this marks card, I'm going to make a line. and then let's get rid of the color. And I want to put, this is my overall average wholesale onto that. Okay, so now I get my two lines and my bar chart in the same view. So now everything matches up nice and neat. Okay. All right, I'll have to fix the colors once I get it into the dashboard, because we're going to have a filter for country. Okay, so that's good. So let's do the same thing here, retail price, and then overall average retail price. Oops. And then here, we're going to make this one a line and put measure names onto color. There we go. All right, so now we've got the two charts we want, so I'm going to select both of those and just color them so I know which ones I want to work with in my dashboard. Okay, hello Rashika, I'm Michael. Again, anybody, if you have any comments, please leave them in the chat. Right, so let me format this a bit. So this is variance to, yeah, I'm going to leave it called like that for now. And then this one is going to be, this would be my wholesale price. Okay, and then let's go to label, font, match mark color, and let's maybe make it like Tableau medium and 10 point, something like that. Okay, my tooltip, wholesale price, overall average. So I don't want the overall average on this one. I want the, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So in this, I'm going to put, so this is my year, and then my wholesale price, and then I want to put my, let's just cancel that for now. Okay, yeah, let's just leave it like that for now. All right, so that's that one, and then here I'm going to change this to just say retail price. Retail price, and then I'm going to set the font to Tableau medium and 10 and match mark color. Okay. Hi, Michael Tucker. Rehan, you can always watch the start again if you want. That's a good way to do it. All right, so let me format the view now. I'm going to, in my columns, I'm going to get rid of my row dividers. And then my 0 line, I'm going to make maybe, do I want to make that? No, I don't want on the, let's make it none. And then on my rows, I want to have my 0 line maybe as a stronger line, something like that. Okay. And then let's see what it looks like if we get rid of our row dividers. Oops. Row divider, none. Oh, that's because I have 0 there. Okay, so that doesn't work. Field, measure names. Okay, so what I think I'm actually going to do for my rows then, my row divider, I'm just going to make it white. There we go. Okay, so now I can look at the retail price versus the variance to the average. I wonder if I put like a row banding on there, what's that going to look like? That separates them, but it doesn't look very good. Okay, so then I'm going to copy the formatting here, go over here, and then paste the formatting. So that just saves me a bit of time. And I'm going to actually get rid of my column dividers as well. I forgot to get rid of those. And then my column divider. I probably do need my row dividers actually. So let's see. And let's just make them. Okay, so I'm using the second from the bottom gray. Okay, second from the bottom gray. Okay, yeah, so I do think we need those. Okay, so my plan now, actually let me go to my 0 lines. Let's maybe make them a bit thicker and make them dashed. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Right. Okay. Okay, so what do I need to do about the colors now? So I've got my wholesale price is in, which colors? My wholesale price is in orange. And this should be variance to wholesale average. Okay, so let me rename this. So variance to, okay, so if the overall is higher, we want it to be blue. Okay, so this is telling me that the overall average is the wholesale price is that. So this one should be, okay, so I'm going to reverse the colors of these. Actually, I want to just choose a whole new color palette. Let's go with my old Watch Me Viz colors. So let's make this one orange and this one blue. And then this color palette, I'm going to have it go from, do I have an orange to blue? And maybe I can pick my Makeover Monday orange. And then let me switch this back to just the regular blue. Okay. Okay, that's better. So now when the orange is higher, when the orange line's above the blue one, we get an the reddish bar and so on. Okay, so that looks okay. And then we need to do the same thing here. So let's change this to, what was my overall is the reddish color. Okay. Blue. And then this one should be my Makeover Monday, red, blue. But this color, I'm going to make the other one. Oh, I should force the center at 0 for both of these as well. And then here, let's force the center to 0. And actually, I'm going to use the full range of the colors. And then here, let's choose the full color range. Okay, there we go. All right, do I want to use the full color range? No, I don't think I should do that. But did I set the center to 0? Advanced, center 0. And here, advanced, center 0. Okay, good. All right, so now we're good to go. Okay, so I don't need these cards, so worksheet. Actually, I'll just leave them there for now, it's fine. And let's start building our dashboard. So I'm going to get rid of the phone version, always the first thing I do. And maybe I'll just make it, I don't know, 800 by 600, just to start with something simple. I'm going to float in a vertical. And 0, 0, 800, 600. And then I'm going to set the inner padding to about 20. Okay, so let's start by dropping in our title. So I could call this the cost of cocaine. Oh. So how am I going to do this now? I think I'm going to need to make this a. Okay, let me cancel. I'm going to change. I think I'm going to. Right, so let me make this apply to all using this data source. Okay, so now I want this to apply to all using this data source. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to create a new sheet that I'm going to use as my title. And I'm going to put the drug onto detail. And let's just put the drug onto label, and let's put the country onto label. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of build a fake title. So I'm going to say the cost of cocaine in, and then insert my country, versus what do we want to call this? Versus USA and Western. I'm probably gonna have to come back to this title. Okay, so let's make this maybe Tableau, maybe medium. Let's make it maybe 18, 20 point, something like that. Okay, so now that fits. I can make it fit entire view. Okay, so right, so let me go to my dashboard now, and I'm going to actually drag in that sheet here, and I'm going to hide the title for that, and I'm going to edit the height, and I'm going to make it, maybe let's put it as like 75 for now. Okay, let's edit the height again. Maybe I'll make it 50. Okay, there we go. Oh, the problem now is, yeah, so I think this should just say, I'm going to get rid of the verses. Okay, so let's go here. All right, so that's fine. I'm going to put a line in here just because I like to do that. Edit the height, make it 10. And then I'm going to put a background like a black line. Okay, so now we've got our little border. I want to put in filters for my drug and my country, but I'll do that next. I'm going to now put in a container. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can put in this one here. So this is my variance to overall, and then I'm going to put in this variance to overall in here. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a text box. Okay, so this is going to be my data source. So my data source is, what is our data source? UNODC, created by Andy Grable. Okay. All right, so now we've got all these legends and all this crap in the background. So I'm going to go to my tiled thing here, horizontal, vertical. God, it's such a pain. So country. So I want to show this filter. So let's float that one for now. Okay, and then I want to get my drug, and let's float that one. Put that there. And then I can get rid of everything else. So let's just remove and delete. Okay, so I want to put the country and drug filters kind of up here next to, actually, why don't I do it, maybe I'll put them down here on the right hand side. Let's try that. I'm going to try something a bit different. So let's bring in a horizontal container, and I'm going to put a blank in there just as a placeholder. Okay, and then I want to bring in a vertical container in that container, and I'm going to put this in that container and this in that container. Okay, I'll show you why I'm doing this in a minute. So I'm going to drag that into, oh no, wait, that's not what I want to do. I want to now bring in a vertical container, put my country one into that container, and then my drug into that container. And now I can get rid of let me edit the width, make that 10, and maybe I'll make it give it a background, and let's get rid of the padding, And then I'll just add some inner padding. Okay, let's do this. Let's add some inner padding, maybe 10. Okay. Let's set this to 0. I'm just trying to get the lines to touch. Let's pick this and let's set the inner padding to 10. Okay. Now the drug I'm going to make, I'm going to just make this a single value list, and I want to get rid of the option to pick all. Okay. So I find it quite annoying that it highlights the drug there, so I'm going to remove it and put it back on, just so it doesn't highlight anything. And then let's make this one, I'm going to get rid of the all here as well, and I'm going to make this maybe I'll make this one a drop down. Okay, and let's see here, so dashboard, I'm going to maybe put some text here. It says filters. Is it okay? Nope. Oops. Okay, so let's edit the width here. Edit width. Let's make this 100. Nope. Okay, still a bit too wide. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we've got that, and we've got our filters. So let's edit the. Let's do that. And I'm going to maybe put a bit of padding in here, maybe 10. Let's do the same thing here. Okay, so now this one I need to make taller. Edit height, let's maybe make this one 80. And then we need to make this one like 100 as well. Okay, and then I think this needs to be wider. Okay, something like that. Okay, and then if I want, I could maybe even give this a little background color. So something like that. Okay, and then I think maybe the whole dashboard, I'm going to now get rid of that padding around the outside. And then I'm going to add some padding on this one. Let's make this like 10. Okay, there we go. Now one thing I don't like is that this always clicks, that it always highlights. I'm not really terribly worried about that. If I want to fix that, I'm going to create a new calculated field called dummy and just do that. And I'm going to put that onto the detail shelf. Actually, I need to get rid of my tooltip on here as well. Okay, and then I'm going to add on, let me go back to my dashboard, and I'm going to try to do like a deselect action. So dashboard actions. I want to add a filter action. I'm just going to call that remove highlight. And it's just going to be my title, going to just my title. On select, show all values, and then here I want to go from dummy to anything else. Let's say subregion. So now if I click on that, it just goes away. Okay, so no click action there, which is nice. I think I'm going to get rid of this padding here because I don't need that anymore. Okay. Sorry, I'm just doing a bit of faffing around here. Let's edit the height of this, make it 10. Set my background to black. And then I'm going to give it outer padding, maybe 10. Maybe 20. Okay. No, let's go back to 10. And then I'm going to make it a little bit So let's maybe set this to okay, something like that. And then I'm going to undo those. I think this should be 10 all around. Let's do that again, because I wanted to line up with these filters. Okay. Okay, so that looks good. Let's maybe put a little bit of space on the top and bottom. So 10, 10. And then this one, I can leave that one alone now. It doesn't matter. Okay. So I've got something. This one, I need to add in some padding. Okay, so now the thing that I was trying to get to in the first place was to be able to show or hide these sheets. So on this particular sheet, I need to go over here to Layout and choose Control Visibility Using. And I'm going to pick Wholesale. And then for the other one, I'm going to pick Retail. Okay, so now I need to show my, where is my, so I'm going to bring on my parameter. Okay, and let's maybe put that there. And how did I set all these up? So layout, so that's, why is that 19? That's weird. Okay, so and let's pick this price type, and then let's make this a compact list. Okay, there we go. So now they can pick retail or wholesale, and it'll swap those sheets out for us. So that's kind of how this new dynamic, let's see, it's called control visibility using, it's called like dynamic zone visibility or something like that. Next week, can we do a crazy artsy one? You will probably never see me do a crazy artsy one, so the answer is no. Okay, so I think what I could do then, so let me go back to my title, and in this title, I'm going to put in the parameter insert. Okay, so let me cancel that. Put my parameter onto detail. Okay. All right, so now this should update, so I can hide my title. And now as I switch them, my title changes. Okay, let me go here. So I need to edit this axis and get rid of the year label. And then it looks like I'm just going to make the whole dashboard bigger. So let's maybe make it 700 by 900. There we go. I just didn't like how my bars were all squashed up next to each other. Okay, so we can pick wholesale, retail. I can hide the title here. What else am I forgetting? So tooltip. Those all look okay. Yeah, so let me go into this sheet, and now I want to format. So this is retail price, wholesale price. Okay, so let's format this, and in the pane, I should be able to put, how is the data? Is it, the data is 48,000 per kilo, but it's in US dollars. Okay, yeah, so let me go, where was I here? Okay, so Okay. So now the problem is in my tooltip. Okay, let's try this here. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was just updating the wrong fields. Okay, so now it looks good. Okay, so let me go through my two tooltips then. And this should just say year. Okay, tooltip. And then I want to put my so I'm just going to rename this overall average. No, that's okay. Wholesale price, overall average. So that's not right. 8,000. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. So let's go in here, and I need to put overall retail price tooltip. Let's make this 15. And then we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so how's that look now? Oh, no, I need to format these numbers as well. So, format. The formatting really takes a long time. I think I got that all. Okay, so I think I am done. So let's call this 46. Okay. Let me shrink this up just a little bit. And I'm going to make, oops, 650, not 6,500. Okay. Now I think I'm just going to put a border on the whole dashboard. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'm going to stick this there. Come on. Why is it not letting me put it in? There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now my line goes all the way to the bottom here. What does it look like if I get rid of this background? So none. Okay, I think I like that. Nice and simple. Okay, can you quickly explain how the dynamic selection works? I'm still in the older version. Yeah, so good question. So the dynamic selection, basically it's all parameter driven. It has to be done with a Boolean as well. So if I look back over here, I've got this parameter called price parameter that has two options in it. And then I have two calculations. Where is it here? One is called retail selected, and the other one's wholesale selected. So I'm just saying, does the parameter equal retail? It returns a true-false calculation. So then what I can say is, when I show the parameter in my dashboard, or is it here, it's going to be one or the other. So on this particular sheet here, so this is my variance. I don't remember which one this is. This is my retail sheet. I can click on this box here and it'll drive by whatever values picked in the parameter. So essentially I'm passing a filter to that sheet that almost makes the sheet invisible if I pick that option in the parameter. So it's just, there used to be a lot of workarounds to do this, but this should be a simplified, the kind of simplified version, hopefully. Hopefully it's a bit simpler. I don't know if I explained that very well. So let me go here in layout. Outer padding, let me make it inner padding, make it 10. Okay. And then this, I can get rid of the inner padding. Okay. So I I think, let me format this view again. I'm just going to see what it looks like without the row dividers. But then the zeros look funny. So let me, yeah, so I think I need to leave those. Okay, I'm just going to move it off the top a bit. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so how's that look now? I just hate these lines going across the top. It looks so awful. Outer padding. No, what happened there? Okay. I don't, yeah, oh, that really bothers me. Oh, I know what I can do. Let me format this view, and I'm going to get rid of my row dividers. And then I'm going to change my 0 lines to be none. Okay, so what I can do now is if I want, I could bring on a, so that's, let me go here. Okay, so let me copy the formatting, paste the formatting. So what I could do if I want is I could bring on a reference line, sorry, not a reference line, a constant line for variance to retail average and set it to 0. And then if I edit this, I could show nothing on the label, nothing in the tooltip. I could make it maybe a slightly thinner line in dark. And now I have a nice little fake kind of 0 line. So let me do the same thing here. Constant line, 0. Edit. No value. No tooltip. Thin. Okay, so that should be better now. Okay, yeah, so now I can see the line here for just that one. Okay, so let me select this container again and make it 4. Let's make it 10 all the way around. Okay, there we go. All right, so retail, wholesale, switch between the drugs, and then I can pick a country. So if I want to pick the United States, it's okay, so on this sheet I need to probably also include what's going on here. Okay, on this sheet I probably need to also include the measure name on the label. So let me go here. Oh, wrong one. Go here, and I want to put measure names also on label. And then I want the measure values on label. Okay. So I'm just going to rename this as overall. Retail price. I'll just call this average. And then this one, let me rename this one. I want to call this one average, but with a space. Okay, so I need to put on my line shelf, measure names has to go on label, and measure values has to go on label. Okay, so how does that look now? And I don't want them to overlap. Okay. Okay, so that's better. Yep. I feel like the whole thing should be a bit taller. Let me see. Maybe in a bit wider. Yeah, I think that's better. 1200 by 800. Okay, so now if I pick a different country, the wholesale price of cocaine in the UK, of heroin in the UK, retail price of heroin in the UK. Okay, so I think I am good to go. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Prem, did I use that calculated field in a filter? No. So that's where the dynamic zones come into play. So if I go up here, this is kind of like a filter. Think of this as like a dashboard filter for the chart. So this is saying my parameter is equal to retail. So it sort of acts like a filter. Rehan, an issue I found when making dashboards is that when filters don't throw a value, everything disappears. Is there a solution? Well, shouldn't everything disappear when there's no value? If there's no data, then Tableau wouldn't have anything to draw. So I'm not quite sure what else to tell you there. Okay, I'm going to hang up there. Wednesday at I think 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Let me have a look here. Wednesday at Thursday at 4 p.m. is Viz review. So yeah, and I will hopefully see you there. Everybody have a great week.